This year I decided to create an anime-styled web series completely from scratch, meaning a detailed animated show with multiple episodes, unique characters designed by and resembling different people, and a complex story that carries a message. 9 months ago, I posted my very first log video to introduce the series and the process of making it from start to finish. So far, I have released 5 more video logs, an animated teaser, the trailer and intro of the series, and countless behind-the-scenes content on our socials. After a year of development, and because this is the end of 2024, I wanted to share how it all went and what's coming in 2025. Welcome to the channel and the world of Valkorey. This is our journey. I began creating this series towards the end of last year. Yes, 2023. It was the year I started digging into my old folders and documents in search of anything that I had created before I started working as a full-time artist. Because back then, when I was younger, my mind had not been influenced by the more corporate industry ideas and ways of thinking. And as I was still working during the day, I was looking for a more relaxed escape in my free time. That's when I stumbled upon a Google Docs document called Valkorey. The document contained a rough concept for a story about a wolf character who arises from the dead, searching for a mysterious paradise to call her home. Along with a small body of text, there were character concepts and small animated clips that showed the main character Valkorey and Shani. All of these were created back in 2019 up to 2020, which seems forever ago. I picked up the story and began to work, not planning to ever release it, but just to allow myself to connect with a part of me that I had lost. At this point, I was not animating anything at all, as the story and the other material that I had found was not usable in its current state. After writing out the first season, which contains 10 individual episodes, I looked at the character designs, contacted their original designers, and adjusted them slightly to fit the animation style while keeping most of their original qualities and appearances. Many people commented about the character designs, and before I continue with the actual development phase of the series, I want to reply to some of these comments, because there is something important that you all should know. Even though the rough story was written in 2019, the characters resemble different real-life people. I created the character Shani/Valkorey in 2013, while another person designed Chokalo around 2015. The same goes for Deli, who was designed in 2015, and also for Akira. I find it kind of special in a way that a lot of the character designs are over 10 years old already. And when I mentioned real-life people, I actually mean real-life people, like you and me. For example, Akira.
Seeing the characters come together in the series is kind of like reminiscent to me in a way, because it's like reliving when we first met and like how it felt back then, and it's so cool to see and watch come together. I started making characters back in 2012. I first started doing it because like you type in like anime or anime wolves back then, like you would get like the old school artists that a lot of people talk about, and it just something about it kind of called to me, and I'm like, this seems like something really cool, like something I want to do, because I can kind of relate to these canine characters in a weird way. What Akira is to me, like what I see her as, is kind of like my equal in a way. Like she's a character that not only the person that I wish I could be, but the person that I thrive to be, which is kind of weird to say about a canine character. But when you look at her character in the anime, you will notice she is kind and open, and she's always there to help her friends, and it's just, that's the kind of thing I've always strived for and what I've always kind of felt defines me, so I always tried to implement that with her and her designs.
If I have to think, it's just me. I don't change. So him and how he acts is basically me and how I act. There is no difference between that. Years cannot change the level of brain damage that I have. So Shurkalo just follows along with me. Like I said, he's the mini-me, but more fun. I wanted him to look different and to be an outcast, because I don't mix with normal people, and he doesn't mix either. The mohawk and how he looks is influenced, well, a lot from me IRL, because I had a mohawk as well for a long period of my life, and the horns, well, easier to poke holes into stuff with that.
All of these characters come from a different time, and that is why they may feel nostalgic to some people. Ultimately, it is important that they resemble the person behind the design, while supporting the story as well, as the animation style is also based on the early 2000s to 2009 anime. At the beginning of March, I had pretty much finished all of the storyboards for the first episode, as well as the storyboards for the intro, and was preparing the very first video log called Making My Animated Wolf Series Valkorey Log 0. Back then, I had around 3,000 subscribers and only a few people in our Discord community. The animation team consisted of me, Red Saberwing, who does compositing, and Akira, who does coloring. During this time, we were still testing some of the workflow to optimize it for the team, as well as testing various styles for the animation. I had worked on smaller productions before, but as this was a team of 3 people, it obviously had to be adjusted. Then, all of a sudden, a part of my world collapsed. It was exactly 6 o'clock in the evening, March the 5th. I was streaming the animation process in our Discord community, and suddenly I stopped mid-conversation with the words, "I've got to go." 5 minutes later, I was on the phone with the local police, who would arrive at my house shortly after. Some people might remember this stream, as I received messages in my DMs asking if I was okay. I never leave just like that. As this year is coming to an end, I am finally ready to open up about this, as it influenced, well, everything. At 6 minutes to 6, to be exact, I had received an anonymous threat message directly threatening me with my life. Obviously, I cannot and do not want to share the grave details of the message, but they pointed out an incident that had occurred earlier that week, one where a fire had been lighted at someone's house, and they promised to step it up from there. After talking to the police till nearly midnight, I packed my stuff, my work PC, my pet bird, and left the house. Safe to say, I immediately had to stop working on the series.
And he just kind of said, "Oh, I gotta go," and left without saying bye to anyone, which was kind of weird and unusual from you.
You're always very hesitant to leave any group call, which is not bad by any means. But to see you leave so suddenly was like, oh, that doesn't seem quite right. You also suddenly got very quiet before you said that too.
Oh yeah.
You just kind of let other people carry the conversation, which sometimes that happens in voice calls. It was kind of weird to not have you chime in.
I could not go to my family or friends. I could not talk to anyone about this. I dropped off Banshee, my parrot, at a place where she would be okay till I came back and continued to drive to find a place to stay. I was not going to let this stop me from making my series and posting the video log that I had been working on. I had taken my entire setup with me, and I would rebuild it repeatedly whenever I had to switch location. Only 5 days after leaving my home, the first video log was posted on YouTube. Did I upload that video while being on the run? It might sound a little dramatic if you put it that way, but why not? So yes I did. I continued to work on the series and even hired 2 new colorists while in hiding and as the investigation was being done. It was rough. It influenced deadlines, production time, and obviously my mental state. But I never stopped working on the series. Normally, I anticipate some delays due to illness or other unforeseen circumstances. But when I was calculating when the first episode would be finished in 2025, I added a small buffer to cover these days. But I never expected to be chased out of my own home for quite a long time. I did get to reunite with my parrot eventually, though. After the first video log, I released a new one every single month. I was still working full-time during the day and working on the series in the early morning or evenings and weekends. The English script for the series was now also fully translated into Japanese and was delivered to the Japanese voice actors who were handpicked by us. Real-life Akira chose her own voice actress, just like I did for mine and Shokado did for his. Because Patreon was growing, I could afford to take in our first in-betweener, Darlena, after posting an open listing, doing interviews, and giving her an art test. The team was pretty much done with the first teaser that would be uploaded in July. Despite the delays, we finished most of it a few weeks before posting, according to the planning I had made. We were so proud of everyone in the team and couldn't wait to share it with the community that had been growing to around 5,000 subscribers. While everyone was waiting for the teaser to come out, the team had already started working on the intro. And according to Patreon, this was already in April. June 29th was when our first teaser was released on Patreon. I was so nervous about uploading it that people had to talk me into pressing the release button in a call. I mentioned earlier in this video that the series was not supposed to be made public when I started writing it. It was meant to be an escape for me, and a way of remembering, cherishing, and accepting the past. The real-life Akira talked me into just releasing it. July the 14th was when a teaser was released on YouTube, and boy, no one prepared me for the amount of comments and views I got in a short amount of time. I know 50k might not sound like much to some YouTubers, but to me, it was 50,000 people watching something we had made. 50,000 people watching a character from 2013 come to life. The feeling was unreal. We quickly grew to 9,000 subscribers, and new people flooded the Discord community like a tsunami. Thank you, Norin, and everyone else for making me press the release button. During the fall, I began feeling the effects of working every single day. I started to develop wrist pain and had to take some breaks. I sometimes had to put the series work to the side to let my wrist rest so I could work on my full-time art job the next day. Despite this, the team and I still worked on the series and were close to finishing the intro video. However, I noticed that I could not keep up with the quality checking of all of the cuts. After talking to the team and checking our monthly Patreon income, we decided that it was time to take in a dedicated check artist and a dedicated VFX artist to help with the animation. I would still be working on checking and doing some of the VFX, but Mim and Atsu were now taking most of the weight off my shoulders. Together we finished the intro 1 week before release, with the revision day included. The entire team took some time off to rest and relax a little bit, while I started working on the episode again, and an unrevealed surprise for the community. It is safe to say that a Valkorey merch collection for 2025 is now confirmed, and I can't wait to show it. November 23rd is when we released the series intro/trailer on YouTube, and it reached even more people this time around. I bet most of you found this channel through the Valkorey intro, as the subscriber count went up to 17,000 subscribers. But if this is not the case, then please let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, I am so glad you all enjoyed it. I think we were all surprised to see people react to the trailer, making edits, and sharing it all over social media. Sadly, in the background, I left my home yet again. And now we're all caught up, but what's next? First of all, thank you for an amazing year and all of the support. You guys made such a big difference in my life, and facing these troubling times was easier with you all by my side. The team and I will continue to work on the first episode and new events for 2025. The next update is scheduled for early next year, where we will finally share the character Valkorey's theme song with the lyrics. And not only that, but we will also hold a giant Q&A where everyone can ask questions about the series, the team, me, anything. The Q&A will be posted on our YouTube community tab and Discord. I will be linking it in the comments down below once it is live. We will only do this once a year, so make it count and don't miss it. Yet, a lot of questions can already be answered in the previous video logs that I have made about the series and its production. If you are new here, I highly suggest checking them out. They will give you additional information about the story and characters as well, and they are spoiler free. I wish you happy holidays and best wishes for next year. And lastly, here is a final message from Akira's Japanese voice actress.
皆様, thank you so much guys for all the love for Akira, and I really hope that you have a great year with all the success and happiness possible. Bye bye!